how do we like, I don't know what the right word is, not a defeat, attack. Like, how do we defend? Like, how do we approach this situation? Like,
Well,
how,
all right. I've already said I'm more than willing to testify. Bring me before a public hearing, and I will swear under oath uh, that my story that I will tell the public on national television. I'm sure there'd be a lot of interest in not only what I have to say, but other witnesses like me, and there are many others who would testify to UFO incidents over nuclear weapons bases. Uh, give them the protections that they need to go
sure.
public
Yeah.
if they're revealing something that they've been sworn to secrecy about. And I think that will go a long way to get the public outcry for these agencies to come forward, like the Air Force.
Sure.
Um, if you don't do something like that, they're going to hit a wall trying to get agencies to come forward.
Sure.
But
Yeah.
you have to get public witness testimony out there, and the more the better, uh, and that's doable. I
Sure.
mean,
Yeah.
these committees now, uh, oversight committees, they could give them the power of subpoena and subpoena witnesses to come to Washington and give public testimony. Um, so that's why I say it's doable for the
Yeah.
Congress to do that if they will, focus on doing that. The hearings we've had up to now are just were just yeah. I think we have recovered craft, or I think we've recovered bodies. I know people, but I can't talk about it. That sort of thing. Hey, let's get the people that are actually working on these projects, these highly classified projects, um, and get them in front of a camera in public. I think that
Yeah.
would go a long way.
Yeah. I think you're right. And I completely agree. And I think a lot of people, um, you know, agree with that sentiment, to be honest with you. I mean, I could see a hearing of witnesses like yourself who have had these, like you said, whether it be at a nuclear base or nuclear energy, however you put it before, right? Just that's all the hearing it. That's all the witnesses are that it's nuclear related and what they're. I mean, that's powerful.
Yes,
That
it
that would be
is.
a powerful hearing for sure because of the implications
Yeah,
of the nuclear aspect, right? Like that would be powerful.
and then the Congress could bring, people from the Air Force, Secretary of the Air Force, to a hearing and say, "Well, what about this testimony
Yeah,
here? Can you
yeah,
confirm or deny that this occurred?" And then go from there.
yeah,
Follow
yeah. I
wherever
agree.
that leads.
Sure. No, I completely agree. I can't imagine why that hasn't happened. Why do you think so many firsthand witnesses are getting overlooked when for these hearings that have happened? Of course, the first one had Ryan Graves and David Fravor, who had witnessed things
Yes.
more David Fravor than anything with the Nimitz incident, and
Yeah.
you know some even argue Grush has some sort of firsthand
Well,
experience.
he claimed he. I don't know about firsthand, but he claimed he knew about programs, but he could only talk about them in a skiff. But that never
Yeah,
happened.
never
Why did
happened.
it never happen? And
Yeah, we're
well,
coming up on 2 years this summer.
yeah, and it's because Congress was told it's not going to happen. We're not going to allow Grush to reveal this highly classified stuff.
Yeah,
Uh, and that came from DOD or the IC, the intelligence community. I don't know who. Um,
sure. Yeah, they blocked it, right? And that's
yeah.
part of the reason I heard from I think Burchett in an interview, he said that part of the reason they're bringing Grush on with Burleson is potentially, or maybe it was Luna that said it, it can maybe get around the classification issue potentially if he's a staff. I don't know what the details were, but I don't know. It looks like they're trying to find other ways than just getting him in a skiff and sitting down. But I also saw an interview where they wanted to get Lou Elizondo, David Grush, and Arrow in a skiff and get them, talking. That sounds like that would never happen, to be honest. But you know, it's like I mean, I would imagine. So at the end of the day, you feel a little disappointed with how
Well,
this is going.
you asked me earlier why you thought I was have not been invited yet. I've got a theory on that, and it goes like this: the every year or two, the Department of Defense comes out with something called a nuclear posture review, where
Okay.
they give their position on nuclear weapons and their use, etc., and their programs. And they start that off, the written form starts off by saying that nuclear deterrence is the very basis of U.S. national security. So they've they've made that statement, right? It's a kind of a hard and fast statement. That's uh, so. This has been the policy of DoD since probably Eisenhower administration when they first dreamed up this mad concept, mutual assured destruction.
Yeah.
Whereas we must have a preponderance of nuclear weapons, at, at least as many as any adversary would have, in order to deter them from attacking the U.S. with nuclear weapons. Well, okay, maybe that's fine for a while, but what it does do, what it has done, is uh, uh, allow other countries to use the same philosophy to develop their own nuclear programs, uh,
No. Yeah.
such as Israel has done, such as India,
Yeah.
Pakistan, uh, the UK, France, China, all nuclear powers. Um, and of course, there could be more on the horizon that want to develop nuclear weapons. So, what this concept of deterrence has done is create more countries with more weapons out there, uh, creating a higher risk that they will be used at some point.
So do you think they don't want you to testify because that would show some sort of weakness in our?
Well, yeah, if I testify, I will testify to the fact that these objects of unknown origin can disable our nuclear missiles.
Yeah. They're scared of that. They're scared of
And
that
the
going
DoD
out.
does not want to hear that. No, they don't.
Sure.
They don't want anybody publicizing something like that because they don't have the answer to how to stop that.
Sure. And
And
it's not just your incident, right? There's many incidents, so that
exactly.
it starts to multiply. All right, that's interesting. That's an interesting, honestly, that's a pretty logical theory
Yeah.
of why they don't want you to come in and talk about this.